All right, guys, so throughout this lesson, I'm going to be referring to a tutorial that was released a while ago called the Quick Lick Latin Style, or Quick Latin Lick, or something like that. If you search those words, you'll find it. I'm not sure exactly what order it is, but anyway, I'm going to be referring to that bass line that we played in there. We're going to be in the key of G. Okay, so that type of bass line, that type of feel, that type of groove. So anyway, I wanted to share with you guys a concept that a lot of people overlook. When they're learning a bass line, they think that bass line is it, the be all, end all, and that's it. You can't play anything else outside of that bass line or anything. But that's not the case. When you're learning a bass line, that's the time to branch out and to actually experiment with it, so you know exactly what's around you, exactly. So go outside of that bass line a little bit. It's okay. So for this particular bass line, I want to show you guys a concept, just switching these notes around just a little bit, and actually a tool that'll help you memorize bass lines a little bit better. So if you guys are good with numbers, even if you're not good with numbers, everybody has to memorize a telephone number or something like that in their lifetime, an address, doesn't matter. If you can do that, you can do this. So for this bass line, just think of it as scale degrees: 34, 25, 34, 51. Okay, so if you think about it like that, there's different ways you can think about it. It makes it a little bit easier for you. Some people think about it like that, split up into, you know, groups of numbers like that. Some people think about it like shapes. It doesn't matter. Whatever you gravitate towards, stick with that and use it. So for this case, you can do 3, 4, 2, 5, and all I'm doing is just putting the numbers together. 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 5, 1. Okay, so that's our established bass line. So 3, 4, let me play a little. Four, 2, 5, 3, 4, 5, 1. 34, 25, 34, 51. You guys get the idea, okay? So now we have that set of numbers: 3, 4, 2, 5. I'll write it on the screen too. 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 5, 1. Now you can mix that up just a little bit. So now let's do 3, 4. Instead of 2, let's do 6. Okay, so that's the concept that I want you guys to get in your head. So you can switch these notes around and just make it just as interesting as the original bass line, so you don't have to be stuck with that. So it's like, what other notes can I play outside of that bass line? A lot of people ask me that questions, or substitutions, or what other bass notes can I play, or how can I create my own bass line? Just as simple as keeping that same exact rhythm of the bass line, changing a few notes about it, and still creating it to be your own and have your own flavor in it. You know, so you have 3, 4, 2, 5, 1. Sorry, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4. So instead of the 2, let's do the 6. And then when I say the 6, that's the 6th note of the G major scale. So that would be E, or the low E. It can be either one. Doesn't matter. Then I'm keeping the other bass notes the same, or I can change them if I want to. So I'm gonna just show you guys some variations of this bass line, and I'll have them written out for you as well, so you can follow along. Just different ideas that you can do, different notes that you can mix up. So let's try it. 3, 4, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 1, 6, 5. Keep the rest the same. Go back and forth. 3, 4, 6, 5. So now we have 34, 65 now, if you want to think about it like that. And then now you can switch it up even more. On the next time, let's keep 3, 4, 6, 5, 3, 4. Let's change the 5 to a 7. And then do 7, 1, right? So we got 1, 3, 4, 6, 5, 3, 4, 71. See how that sounds? So you can substitute these different notes to make them sound just as good as the original bass line. So just keep in mind when you're playing this, make sure you hit those downbeats, like that 3, the 4, make sure you're hitting those, and you don't want to really substitute those notes because those are the most important notes, those downbeat notes. But make sure you're hitting that one every single time. You're down back on that one because that's where it starts. Okay, so you can switch up whatever you want to, and not only switch up the notes, but switch up the placement. Switch up where you switch up where you play these notes, so you can play them in a different spot of the fretboard and it'll sound a little bit different, or in a different string. So let's play the 6 in a different spot. 1, 3, 4, 6, 5. Instead of playing it here, I know we talk about that 4-finger rule all the time. We're talking about having that 4-finger placement, and we don't have to move at all. But you can move outside of that. I would suggest and I would encourage you to move outside of that 4-finger pattern, just so you can get used to the rest of the fretboard and see how it feels. So if I play that same E on the A string, it makes me feel a little bit different about that note. Also approach the note a little bit differently. Now I can swell up to that note, or actually tie a note onto that, or slur from the D to the E. So let me show you what I mean. So just something very simple like that can change the entire bass line. You know, right here we're very staccato with our notes. The beginning of our notes, we're still holding them out, but we're playing them, we're plucking them pretty hard. Okay, so here, very subtle, very subtle, but that can make the entire bass line. I mean, that can add your own flavor to the bass line, just slurring up to that 5 back, or slurring up to the 6 from the 5 back down to the 5. Okay, you can do that with different notes. You can do that with the 7-1. So let's try it with the 7-1, different placements. 1, 2, 1, 4, 6, 5, 3, 4. We did the 7-1 up here, but now I want to do the 7-1 lower. So you get it? Lower 7-1. So that 7-1, you don't lose the chord quality or the scale degree, because you're only playing the octave of that F sharp, which is the 7 of G major. So that's the concept that I wanted to wrap your head around, or wanted you guys to wrap your head around when you're practicing these bass lines, or if you're hearing anything that you're playing and trying to recreate it. That's all a part of adding your own flavor, and then your ear becomes developed. Also, being able to know these numbers, play these numbers like it's nothing, like it's like you're, like with your eyes closed, so you don't even have to look and see where the next number is coming from, or where the next number is, where the next bass note or the root note is. So hope you guys got that concept. Make sure your notes are coming out clean, clear, and precise, especially when you're playing this type of line with the rhythmic patterns. Dun, 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 dun. Especially with that, the bass is so prevalent, it's so strong. It needs to have a strong presence inside of that bass line, or inside of that song or groove, if you may. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. But anyway, make sure your notes are coming out clean, clear, and precise. Take it slow. Don't be afraid to experiment. If you guys have any questions, write them below, and I'll catch you in the next one.